Hello everyone, Kenny aka The Basic Brit, back again with another session recap for you. This is session 2 in the Morgansfort campaign, and the party grows in this one. I'm just going to pretty much jump straight into it, so make sure you got a cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever your drink of choice. Whatever you're doing, prepping for your next game, just sit back, relax, listen, maybe get a bit of inspiration from mine and my group's second session in my campaign. So without further ado, last we left off with the party. They had escaped the soul-stealing storm that had rolled in and decimated the caravan. The group took shelter within a cave, and through different trials, be that slaying a very angry bear, navigating the hazards of the cavern, killing some giant centipedes in a grick that ambushed them, the group have made it through to the other side with Sir Brennan, a young farmer, and a boy named Tommen, the only survivors of the caravan that was on its way to Morgansfort. Sir Brennan has stated that he needs to pass a message to the Baronet, Haldon Rathwin, that his caravan of goods has been destroyed. He also needs to pass news of this sinister ethereal storm, warn the people of Morgansfort, so that next time they aren't caught unawares. The party agrees, and they decide that the best course of action is to get back to the caravan, see if there are any survivors down there, and head out north for Morgansfort. What they come across down at the bottom of the trail is multiple lifeless bodies. Images of fear strewn across their face, staring up into the sky, eyes wide, mouths agape. The party and Sir Brennan decide not to linger here for too long. He will return and recover what he can when his numbers are bolstered. Bluebell says a little prayer for the dead, and the party sets off north. Soon on the road they catch up with a couple of other travellers. They greet each other and realise that they're all seeking adventure, heading to Morgansfort to make a name for themselves. This new group of individuals introduces themselves to the party. There is Olanlar, the dwarven druid, dressed in heavy cloaks, carrying a gnarled, quite mean looking staff. He has bits of animal furs and foliage sticking out from all over his person. Another dwarf is with the party. Trotek, the dwarven barbarian, is clad in studded leather armour and carries a mean looking axe, its metal gleaming in the morning light. They're accompanied with a halfling, Liana. She carries a lute on her back and a short sword and a sling at her hip. After some to-ing and fro-ing from both sides of the parties, they decide it's better to travel with safety in numbers, at least until Morgansfort, and enjoy a couple of drinks at the inn. Now the journey still takes a full day's travel, but finally Morgansfort comes into view. High stone walls rested on top of a rocky outcropping overlooking the bay beyond. Sir Brennan says they'll be safe here and they can find lodgings at the local tavern or inn. Finally, the chance for some rest and recuperation. As the party gets closer up the small, heavy worn, dust-beaten track, they get to the gatehouse. Two guards stand checking in a couple of merchant caravans with a scribe noting down who comes and who goes. Sir Brennan mutters a few words to the guards and they let the party through. Sir Brennan makes his excuses and says he needs to head off into the walled off section that contains the Baron's keep. The party bids him farewell, and at the same time the young farmer goes to seek out what remains of his family in the local area. They're left with the problem of Tommen. Sir Brennan suggests going to see the local smithy. He's without an apprentice at the minute. Tommen seems healthy for his age. He knows that the smithy can always use a strong arm and someone with a can-do attitude. Tommen's eyes light up at the chance to prove himself. The remaining survivors of the caravan have gone their separate ways, and we are left with the party and the new additions. They agree that the best course to take here will be to head straight to the inn, secure lodgings and food for the night, and maybe potentially hear about some rumours of the local area. The group heads past the stables and into the main market square of the town. A couple of lean-tos are set up with people selling fruit and the like. Liana decides a punnet of apples will be helpful on their journey. Something sweet to take away the taste of the dry rations that they normally eat on the road. They ask one of the locals to point them in the direction of the inn. They soon come across a great building, 2 stories high, with a sign outside. The symbol of an iron helmet swinging in the light breeze. Underneath a name, the Iron Helm Inn. On entrance, they see a warm fireplace, a large long bar area, and an open plan common room with stairs leading up to the second level where they can secure private lodgings. A couple of the patrons have maybe had a bit too much to drink and they're just sleeping on the straw floor. A portly human man makes his way over to the group. He introduces himself as Lauren. He greets the party and says, "How can he help them? Is it ale, food, or lodgings that you need?" They agree to all 3. Take a seat at one of the tables. Lauren has one of the serving wenches come over, hand out the refreshments. Over the course of the next 30 to 40 minutes of role playing, the party wanted to get to know each other, bond a little bit and come to terms on how they wanted to continue as an adventuring party. Once all of the discussions were over, they decided to listen into some of the patrons around the room. Mirin, the elf, sat down at a table, ingratiating himself with some of the local farmers. He heard that there was a fortress at the mouth of the river that has been disused for centuries. Locals around here call it the Old Island Fortress, and that there's apparently dungeons underneath. Orlan hears from another group of locals that the large lake to the south is said to be treacherous and full of spirits. It's said that no one comes back from there. That's why the road avoids it. For the rest of the evening, the group drinks, has fun, remembers the fallen comrades from the caravan, and then heads over to the Toothless Dragon Tavern next door, where they're told they can have a bit more of a raucous time. Liana, the halfling bard, decides to grab out her lute, start playing a tune to entertain some of the locals. Travelling bards are a rarity in these parts, and a little bit of an injection of fun is a most welcome distraction to the normal hard lives these simple frontier people live. Orlan the druid, although not used to being in such constructed civilization, makes best effort to ingratiate himself. Protek focuses on supping his body weight in beer, as a dwarven barbarian should. Jarek and Bluebell decide that they're going to have an early night. It's been a long road here. While Mirin makes sure to discreetly listen to what the locals have to say about the place. He gets the sense that this place is rife for adventuring. As the evening winds down and all the party return back to the inn, they take up their lodgings either in the common rooms or the private rooms upstairs, settle down for the night. They wake the next morning with slightly fluffy heads from the merriment made the day before, and over breakfast they agree the Old Island Fortress is only about 4 hours away from here by foot. Let's say we check it out. On the way out, Bluebell nips over to the Baron's Gate. She asks for the whereabouts of Sir Brennan, and the guard says he set out earlier this morning with a party to retrieve the goods lost to the storm. A little bit disappointed she didn't catch him in time, she resolves herself to support the party any way she can in their next adventure. And with that, the party leaves for the Old Island Fortress. That was session 2. It was a heavy roleplay session. I had My friends from in the UK who I quite regularly play D&D with joined up with people I'd met on either Discord or Roll20, and it was a session focused on joining those two groups of players together. It went really well. Unfortunately, not a lot of action to relay to you guys, but like I say, it was just one of those sessions where kind of the party gets to introduce themselves to a couple of the minor NPCs within Morgansfort, hear some rumours, grab some adventure hooks, and really set off again and get back into the meat of the adventure. A bit of dungeon delving. Just a little insight for you guys. So I try to run my games as sandboxy as I possibly can, and I inject modules into it where I can, where I think it's suitable. Definitely the Western Lands campaign setting it's brilliant for that sort of game. There's not a lot of places marked on the map, so if you wanted to dot stuff here and there, then that's absolutely possible, and it's exactly what I'm doing. And as the campaign develops over time, you'll see that play out. But with that, guys, that's all I've got for you for this session recap. Look forward to session 3, where the group meets a new ally and they have their first foray into a proper dungeon. And for a lot of my players, it's their first time playing an old school OSR dungeon crawl, and I think you're going to really like it. But with that being said, please, if you like this video, give it a like, consider commenting, it really helps out the channel. And if you want to see more of what the channel has to offer, consider subscribing, put the notification bell on, and that will alert you to whenever I upload. But with that, guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.